Welcome back, go-getters. Good to see you all today. My name remains James Allen, and if you're watching this right now, it simply means you loved episode 1. My team and I would like to say thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments. And thank you for subscribing to this channel. If you have watched episode 1 of this series, How to Excel Academically, then that means you already know what your courses are, at least from your prospectus. You have done your syllabus check from your prospectus, and you have gathered enough information from those who have worked the part before you. So for episode 2, my plan is to teach you what I call strategic planning. Planning is not something most students take seriously, but what they don't know is that planning makes your goals easier to achieve. Even up to this point of my career, I still plan. But here's the thing, most students actually struggle with knowing how to plan. It's not that they don't want to plan, but they don't know how to plan. They don't know what to plan, and they end up reacting to the semester instead of directing it. So today, I'm going to try to teach you how to plan. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to teach you how to plan. So, and in order for me to do that, I would like to share with you a blueprint, my own blueprint on how I planned, how I cultivated the habits, and helped me achieve 4.98 CGPA during my bachelor's degree or my undergraduate program. So typically, I'll try to put myself in your shoes so that it's relatable. So I'll treat 3 areas about strategic planning: the semester plan, how to plan for your reading timetable, life balance, how you should plan the academics alongside with other activities that you might have going on in a semester. So our focus today in this episode is semester plan. And my hope and belief is that at the end of this session, your thinking about the semester should not remain the same, should have improved, right? But I want you to remember something, that planning is not a tax. It's your mindset. The student who plans is the student who leads. But let me ask you something, guys. Why would you plan your semester before it even starts? Like, think about it. Can't you just figure it out as you go? Now, if you think about this very well, you see that, to be very honest, there are a lot of students who go through the semester without any plan, and they still earn good results. Like, they still do so well in school. But one thing they forget to understand is that when you go through school, it's not just about earning good grades. There's a character side of things where you tend to build a character or build a certain character over time. Now, let me show you what it looks like for someone without a plan before the semester starts. Now, in the first week, that's week 1 of the semester, the guy is trying to figure out the timetable. Week 2, you're still trying to buy books, or you're trying to find materials, course materials to study for that semester. Week 3, then you realize that one of your courses has 6 chapters, and you have only 3 weeks left before resumption. There's so many of you that fall into this trap. Then week 6, you're already in panic mode. You're already wondering, how are you going to write the exams, because you did not get a chance to utilize your weeks in the semester properly. And that is what figuring it out as you go looks like for most students who go into the semester without a plan. But when you plan weeks before resumption, something different happens. You already know your courses. You have already mapped your weeks. You walk into the semester starting from week 1 with a plan. You already know what you want to do in week 2, in week 3, in week 4. And there's a certain confidence you have even while you go through the semester if you have a plan. So here's something I want you to hold on to in this meeting, that planning is not just an academic skill. It's a life skill. It's something that you would use over time, whether you are a successful, or whether you want to be a successful professional, you want to be an entrepreneur. Every person doing any meaningful work in the world, they all plan. And you have to be intentional about your plans. You don't just jump into any task. You have to, every task you imbibe or take on, you have to cultivate the habit of planning. So that's the character you build as a student, even in school. You utilize it in your career, you utilize it in your business, you utilize it in your relationships. So when you start planning early, you're not just preparing for the exams, you are becoming the kind of person the world needs. So plan before the semester, and trust me, your future self will be grateful that you did that. So remember this, you cannot control every outcome, but you can control your preparation. The student who enters week 1 with a plan has already won the battle. Now most of your classmates haven't even started fighting. So what exactly are you planning for? Now, I've presented a framework on the slides. Look at the slide very well. You notice that I stated I identified 3 pillars to make your semester great. 3 things I have mapped out that you should plan before resumption. The first pillar you see here is semester plan. This is what we will cover today. Your courses, the number of weeks in the semester, the scope of work, your strategy, your class strategy, the full picture of how your semester will run from day 1 to exam day. That's what we're going to treat today. Now for the second pillar, which we'll take in the next episode, episode 3, is your reading timetable. This is your personal study schedule, which varies for everyone. So I'll try to explain to you guys when you should study, what you should study, how to balance your reading time across all your courses. We'll try to go deep into it. Of course, there's a popular saying that you have to do what works for you. We'll get there. You get to understand how to prepare a reading timetable that works for you. Now, the third pillar is life balance. We'll now look at academics and life in a big scale, or in a wide view, or a holistic overview, where we'll look at your academics and then we'll look at other areas of your life, including your mental health, your rest, your relationships, your friendships, your faith in God, your growth as a person. Because a student who runs into a semester without planning all of these things, you are just going there to earn grades. So today, like I said, we're going to focus on just the first pillar, which is semester plan. Now, what does a semester plan entails? I know I've mentioned it, but let me try to break it down very well into 5 points. The first is your courses. You have already listed your courses from your prospectus from episode 1. Good. Now, you're going to add more details to that information. You want to take note of the number of credits, units there is, right? You want to understand when they are taught, when they will be taught, like when are they going to start classes. You want to check, does this particular course have practicals or coursework components? You also want to know which courses you are carrying over, that is, which courses you failed the previous semester, you're going to write again. You want to also highlight those things. So as I'm telling you, you are doing it. The second point I want to talk about is your class timetable. Where does these lectures hold? Where are they going to hold these lectures? At what time? Who is going to be teaching them? Which professor? Which lecturer? As we discussed in episode 1, this information is best gotten from seniors who just finished the level you are entering. They know the rooms, they know the lecturers, and they know the patterns. So trust me, you don't need to have an answer to every aspect of this, but you should have some information if you actually reach out to those who have worked the part before you. The third point I'm going to look at is How many weeks do you have in a semester or in that semester? So between the day the lecture starts or begin and the day the exam starts, how many actual study weeks do you have? You need to have that information, because that is the most valuable resource. Most students end up wasting it because they don't even know. Sometimes you can have 14 weeks, you can have 12 weeks, you can have 13 weeks, but you need to be aware how many weeks that semester is. The fourth is scope of work. How much ground does each course cover? How many chapters? How many topics? How many units for each course? This is how you measure the workload and how you should distribute your time intelligently. The last thing, which is the fifth point, is class attendance. We'll talk about the details in this section, but I want you to understand that you are going to attend classes. So this is a decision. It doesn't depend on your mood. I know I'm being harsh, but that's the truth. Classes are important, and I will make you understand why. These 5 things are going to form the foundation of your semester plan. So get them right before to week 1, and you will carry this advantage throughout the entire semester. Yes, because information removes fear. A student who knows their courses, their timetable, the workload, the weeks, they don't panic. They just go ahead to execute it. So that's why you have to build your semester or build your foundation even before the semester starts. That removes some certain pressure from you. Now, on this slide, I want to share with you the principle I use. Personally, I use in a semester. Every single semester I've attended or I've entered, this is the principle I use. I call it the 80-20 semester principle. Now, for the system we have back home, is that this principle works. And once you understand it, you will never approach your reading the same way again. And the idea is very simple. Split your semester into 2 seasons. 80% for the first season, 20% for the second season. Now, season 1 will be your 80% of your study weeks. Now, you know the number of weeks your semester should be. Split it into 80%. That season is your season of understanding your courses. During this time, your one goal is comprehension. You want to genuinely understand the material. You want to genuinely understand the courses. So you want to read line by line, chapter by chapter. You want to watch YouTube explanations, attend tutorials, compare notes with classmates, ask questions, use multiple textbooks. Do whatever it takes to actually understand what is being taught in each of the courses you are taking. The second season is what we call the 20% of your study weeks. And that is your season of passing exams. It's your season where you read to pass exam. Notice I did not say stop studying. I mean, you are still studying, but now your focus is shifting from just reading to understand to reading to pass exams. So you read with, at this point, you are reading with past questions in your hand. You study the areas of concentration your lecturer has highlighted. You memorize formulas. You solve calculations over and over again before going into exam mode. In both seasons, you are reading, and this principle works. But it only works when you start season 1 on week 1 and not week 8. So if you have 14 weeks, start from week 1 with season 1. And then when you get to the 12th week, you start with season 2. So don't delay, don't postpone, don't procrastinate. You have to start reading to understand from the very first lecture.